Welcome everyone to Raw Sport, another huge episode with the legend himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jeff Fenech. Jeff, welcome to Raw Sport. How are you, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. Had a rough day with you yesterday, but hopefully we'll get through it today.
We tried to make it happen yesterday. We are very sorry, folks, but the internet let us down. Okay, Jeff, from the very, very beginning, we want to get straight to the point. Very simple question, right? And we want to clear something up here. A few months back, there was an announcement at your house that you are part of Team Tszyu. Then we didn't hear much. Then every couple of weeks, we saw some videos of you on Tszyu's social media. And then last week, another video. What is your position inside the Team Tszyu camp?
I've shot a couple of videos and they've used it. I spoke to him like prior to him going to America, and that's really about it. I've like I said, I really liked him. I had a couple of conversations with his wife where I've told her as well as him that I would love to help them, but that's really as far as it's gone. But I mean, he went over there. My advice was to get a trainer that obviously knew what they're talking about, that he loved training with, and when he left the gym, that he wanted to get back there ASAP because he had that relationship. He told me he found that, and like I said, the connection's been pretty little or none at all. Maybe I spoke to him twice, or he sent me a message, and that's really about it.
One of the biggest questions that's been circulating is, will Jeff Fenech be in Tim Tszyu's corner come fight night?
I won't even be at the fight.
You won't even be at the fight? Why?
Well, I just, like I said, I just don't feel that I'm needed. I don't think, I mean, nobody, I've been offered tickets, but I get tickets from Matty Rhodes, who's my great friend, whenever I need them. So, like I said, I just think that Tim don't need any more pressure. I don't need people asking me things about, what I've done, especially when I've done nothing. So I just want Tim to go out there and do his job. And, nobody has to talk about me. Nobody has to ask me any questions. I just want to sit at home. I'll have a nice scotch and dry and watch the fights here at home on TV.
Jeff, Tim went over to America. He's got a new trainer. What have you seen different so far?
The one thing, look, is that's really important. Tim's loving and enjoying being with the guy who is helping him. But I see I see a happy Tim Tszyu, which is great. But I see exactly the same Tim now hitting the pads, or he's not even hitting the pads. The other guy hits the pads for him. That's the most amateurish pad holder I've ever seen. I mean, you're supposed to learn to hit the pads, and the pads are supposed to be your opponent. I've never seen an opponent headbutt as many punches in my life as or the way Tim's punching the pads. It might look good and it's fast and it's speedy, but the real thing is, the person who holds your pads is your opponent. They don't go forward. People don't catch punches like it's crazy. But like I said, Tim's chosen that route, and look, I just hope it all works for him. Like I said, and Tim's an extraordinary athlete. He's got amazing talent. So hopefully, like I said, what he's doing there is definitely not going to help him. And like I said, I do remember perfectly saying one thing to him. One thing that was really important that I told him was, you need to have somebody who's going to sit down and tell you what you've done right and wrong in those fights, and you need to correct them, because if you don't, the same thing's going to happen again. Look, this guy, I don't know nothing about the guy's fighting. I've only read things and, that his record, that he's fought nobody. But like I said, if I was picking for Tim now, I'd do the same thing. I'd just go along the process and have a couple of wins and get him back, mentally right. And about, like I said, there's levels in this sport. And unless he's going to be learning now, unless he's learning what he done wrong and right in that 3 fights that he's lost, Tim's not going to be at that level. He proved that he wasn't at that level, 3 fights ago. And to get there, and I have no doubt that he can, you need somebody that's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. You need to shadow spar, you need to do pads, you need to spar, all exactly the same. You can't, yeah, pads punch you and you don't punch him, because that, like I said, it doesn't happen in a fight. So, like I said, I wish Tim all the best. I really do. But like I said, they've asked me to help. I done whatever I could do. I told them what I could do, and whether they took my advice or not, which I honestly believe they haven't. So, I mean, that's up to them. Maybe they thought my advice was wrong, but I think I've been proven over the last few years what I've said about everything that I say, because I only tell the truth. People can love me or hate me. They can say what the fuck they want to say about me, but I know I tell the truth, and none of that bothers me at all. And I don't like swearing, so I just want people to know. Like last night, I was up answering people that were having a bit of a dig at me, saying, "No, I'm jealous, or I'm not happy because I'm not in Tim's corner." I got nothing to do. I don't have to be in anybody's corner. I've done my job. I know what I'm doing. They asked me the question. They asked me to help them. I offered my advice and help. Obviously, they haven't taken it, so that's up to them. Like I said, all that I can say is that I wish Tim luck. I wish that everything he does is, going to be successful. But like I said, if you're doing the same things that led you to being unsuccessful, you don't get success. And like I said, and I love Tim. And for Tim to say I'm not a good fighter, I'm a great fighter, that's great to have confidence like that. But he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. So he needs to forget about talking, let his fist do the talking, like Johnny Lewis said. Just go out and work hard, be around the right people. But like I said, being around people that are holding pads, anybody can do that. Like we've seen yesterday, Darcy Ellis done it with him. We've seen it the day before, somebody else done it with him. We've seen it in camp, his trainer done it. When I watched that, I laughed. And no disrespect to any of them, but I laughed at all 3 of them that were holding the pads, because what they did what you do on the pads is what you're supposed to do in a fight, and none of them do it, because you know why they don't do it? Because they don't have an idea how to do it.
Jeff, many would say to you, Pedro Diaz has trained Miguel Cotto and all these names, huge names, and his fighter on the weekend won the WBC Cruiserweight Championship. And they'd say that's a good enough resume, to come in and impact him. What would you say to that?
I don't know. I'd say that's great. But let me train Miguel Cotto. Let me train some of the guys. I'll train the world champion as well. And a lot of these people that take credit for training. Listen, I said my grandmother could have trained Mike Tyson. She trained the world champion. My son at 20 years old, if he trained Muhammad Ali, he's going to train the world champion. I mean, that's great. I'm not saying that the guy can't train, but what I watch, I've been trained by the greatest trainers ever, Johnny Lewis, who is the best mental trainer that can make you do anything. And I've been trained by Manuel Stewart, who is without doubt the greatest. And he held pads as if it was an opponent. He never came forward. He never hit your punches. He caught them all. He went backwards. He taught me so much, about what pad work should be.
Jeff, the ultimate question is this, right? You're not training Tim, but if Tim was your fighter, what would you do differently?
Well, the first thing I do is I sit down and watch, and let him watch Fedor and the Russian fight, and I would tell him what I believe that he'd done right or wrong, and it'd be open for him to tell me if he agreed with me or not. But like I said, I'll say it a million times over, and let me tell you, I don't want to train Tim, so let's just get that point across. All I wanted to ever do was help him, make him better. So I don't want to be his trainer. But let me tell you now, give me Tim for 1 week, any week while he's fit, and I'll fight Fedor. If he loses, I'll give him my house. Fedor's a great fighter. There's a way to beat those big, tall guys, and you've got to get in close. You've got to fight in there. You don't step back and give them the range to hit you all the time. And that's all Tim done in 2 fights. He never learned nothing from the first fight. His team that I told you back then never told him anything in the first fight, never told him how to beat him in the second fight. They just thought Tim was going to go out and do the job on his own. Sometimes when you get to that next level, you need help. You need people to tell you what to do and to explain how to do it and show you how to do it. And then, Tim's got all the skill in the world. He'll do it. He'll be able to do it.
Jeff, to be fair, you've been right over the last 3 to 4 years around this situation that's evolved around Tim. Now we see ourselves in a very different predicament. We see ourselves a young man who's lost 3 out of his last 4 fights, a young man who's changed his whole team. Do you think the turnaround happened too quickly, Jeff? Because usually new teams take time to build that chemistry, that understanding between one another.
I know that I exactly understand what you're saying, but like I said, Tim's at this stage is there's no slowing things down. He's got to get back to the top and get there. Not ASAP, but he's just got to do it properly. And like I said, there's a method to the madness, and there's a process that you got to go through. And maybe I agree with what you just said. He hasn't really gone through the right process to get back to where he wants to be. Like I said, does he believe that having Diaz in his corner, can he go back and fight Fandora and beat him? If he believes that, that's great. The stuff that I'm seeing him do is no different to what he done, with everybody else. He goes under a punch, he comes straight back out in front of it. He doesn't cut the distance off. And unless somebody can show you that and teach you that, it's hard to do.
Jeff, you built many successful world champions and teams. What's it take to build that success?
Well, the easiest thing and the greatest answer is if, like, for instance, put me in America, I might have trained 100 world champions. There's so many fighters there. But like I said, it's the fighter first. And if you can do what Johnny Lewis done to all his fighters and make them believe in preparation and everything else, that we done nothing wrong. Every day we woke up. Johnny Lewis never had to ask any of us, did you do your road work in the morning? Did you eat properly? Did you diet? Did you sleep on time? Because we proved it to him every time we boxed. So you just need to, first of all, you need to have the fighter, and then you just need to have that connection, and you need to have the person who, in my job, that when you come back to the corner, is not going to just give you water and a drink. He's going to tell you exactly what you need to do if you're in a tough fight and you're losing. He's going to tell you what you've done in the gym and how you can turn this around. Like you said, I remember talking to Tim prior to his rematch against Fandora, and I told him, Tim, you need an A, B, and C plan. And I know for a fact that Tim said he had that. He had no plan when he as soon as Fandora started doing the same thing. Tim couldn't change because he didn't have another plan. He just had the same plan.
Wow. Jeff, are we going to see another world title run from Tim? Can he do it again?
I have no doubt that, like I said, Tim has the potential and the ability to do anything he wants to do. But you need to have somebody that's going to be able to tell you what you need to do to change. And like I said, I'm hoping that Pedro Diaz is that person. But when I see Tim on the pads, it's like I said, to me, it's mate, it's crazy, it's fast, it's powerful. That's not what pads are about. What you do on the pads, and like I said, what you do in shadow sparring is what you got to do when you spar and when you fight. And if he thinks what he's doing on the pads is going to make him win the fight, they're all joking again. It's a joke. It's like I said, that's not pad work. That's showing off, And in this sport, we don't need to show off. And doesn't looking good doesn't mean anything. Just doing things properly and having the process when you're doing it. That's what's important. And like I said, all I can say is about Pedro Diaz. I don't know the guy, but I know that Cubans were the greatest ever amateur fighters, and what he done, what I seen with Tim was pretty amateurish. That wasn't. And like I said, I don't know if he sat Tim down and said to Tim, "Look at this. This is why Fandora hit you, and this is why this happened." And if he hasn't done that, he's then, to me, that's not a coach that's taken over somebody that needs help.
Jeff, what do you believe we are going to see tomorrow night? What version of Tim Tszyu will we see?
Well, you're going to see a real confident Tim Tszyu. He's like I said, he's happy, but and like I said, we'll see all that. But this is the question: is who's he fighting?
Anthony Velasquez.
yeah. No disrespect. Who's that?
I mean,
question: who's that? Have you ever heard of him prior to this? Have you ever heard of him prior to them signing him?
Nah.
Well, there you go, and nobody else has. But like I'm saying, and that's their job to make sure that he gets that right fighter and builds that momentum up. But like I said, building it up is not just by getting a fight that you're going to win and talk it up. It's about changing the things that were wrong that will make it right for Tim. And I don't see that. They've asked me for my opinion. They've asked me to be this person, and they haven't given me the opportunity to say it. But you've given me the opportunity to say it, so I'm just going to say it.
That's really interesting. Like, that's something I never understood. When I first saw that initial announcement, I thought you'd be a lot more involved, but I was wrong, and it is what it is. Jeff, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to join me once again. You're always very generous with your time. We need some parting words from you, mate. What are you going to leave us with?
I'm going to just say this to all you people out there that, right on the computer, you tough keyboard warriors. All I ever do is tell the truth. So that's why none of this bothers me. As long as I tell the truth and I know it's the truth, you can all go and sit on that.
Jeff, what are you worried about? You see that hat that you're wearing, mate? That explains it all.
That my hat explains nothing. It's my respect that I have from the greatest fighters in the world.
Yeah.
That I know. And that's why I know who I am. I didn't give a rat's ass about my belts. My belts mean nothing. When I was just overseas with Katie Taylor, Roberto Duran, and Vinny Paz, and everybody else that, know what I've done and give me the credit for what I've done.
Jeff.
No belt can replace that, Ahmad.
Jeff, before you go, actually, tell us about the WBC convention. The WBC loves you there. Tell us.
Yeah, I love them. I mean, it's the greatest convention in the world. I mean, everybody gets together. We are just one big family with the WBC. And, like I said, everybody that goes there, we have the best time ever. We share experiences. We all have dinner together. Yeah, and we enjoy ourselves. And that's what's so great about the WBC. Mauricio Strowman is the greatest person in the history of the sport, apart from his dad. He loves the sport. He wants everybody to get the same opportunities. If you put yourself in the right position, the WBC will help you 100%.
Anything stand out to you that got your attention there, mate?
Meeting Katie Taylor was amazing. What a beautiful human she is. What a beautiful person. And we had a great evening with Roberto Duran, which was amazing. And a lot of the people who were there with Roberto, his sons, and so on. It was just an amazing time. And then sitting down with Mauricio and all the guys that have been with the WBC for years and years is really special. They love their job. They love what they're doing, and they're great for the sport of boxing. And like I said, when I look at what's happening to the sport today, it's going to be, it's great to have one belt. But if there was one belt that I would want, they can stick the ring belt up their backsides. I would have the WBC belt any time. So yeah.
Did you meet Usyk?
Yeah. He was unreal.
What's he like as a person?
Oh, amazing, funny. But I was blessed that I sat beside Mauricio, and on the other side of him was Usyk. So we spoke a lot. And when he arrived there, I was there for the arrival to meet him and got some photos and stuff. And like I said, an amazing human, and to do what he's done in the sport. When I look at it, is just totally amazing. And I think that if there's any fighters in this era that's going to go down as great with greatness, he's one of them. Him, Inoue, in a way, the little Bam Bam. They're fighters that could have fought in any era, and I really appreciate to the time that Usyk gave everybody, not just me. He was so beautiful to everybody.
He's a very interesting character. He's an amazing fighter. Jeff, thank you very much once again, mate. Very generous with your time to Raw Sport and Raw Sport fans. We want to wish you all the best, mate. Block out all the noise. You got nothing to prove, brother.
No problem. Just one more time to all you guys who think, I don't know what I'm talking about. Come and sit down with us and question me, and ask me any question you want. If I can't answer it correctly, then I'll never do one of these again. I know what I'm talking about, and like some of you people out there might think that I'm, doing the wrong thing by saying what I'm saying. But like I said, I'm only telling the truth. And when my friend here puts you on his podcast, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say anything that I don't believe is right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the legend himself, Mr. Jeff Fenech, thank you very much for joining me on Raw Sport.